Hey, this is John Carlos. I'm here at Toys R Us, and I was pleasantly surprised to find this, the Batman Begins NECA 6-inch action figure, which was previously one of their quarter-scale figures. So I'm really glad this is here. I was not expecting to find this, so let's go open it up and review it. Before we open it up, we're going to take a quick look at the packaging, which features that old artwork that was used on all the merch when Batman Begins first came out, that ugly Batman cowl that I hated. I'm kind of bummed to see that artwork being used again, but oh well. It used to be that Mattel and DC Collectibles got to make 6-inch Batman action figures, and NECA got to do the quarter-inch scale figures, and they were able to make them smaller as like a fun loophole where they were being sold with the DVD or a Blu-ray as an accessory and not as an individual figure. I don't think that loophole exists anymore because this was just chilling in Toys R Us. Same thing with the previous Harley Quinn figure that was based on a quarter-inch scale figure. I don't think there's any loopholes anymore. I don't really know the reasoning why. I don't really care. I'm just glad that I got a good Batman Begins figure. Because I was always a big fan of what NECA does with their toys. I like their style. I like them more than Mattel, obviously for detail and sculpt and all that. And, you know, no one else got to make the movie figures. And I always wanted good NECA versions of them. So when we got the Christopher Reeve one, when we got the Michael Keaton one, that was great, but I wanted to keep going. When they started doing bigger Batman Begins ones, I personally had hoped that one day we'd get this version of it. We already got the Heath Ledger one, so now I'm glad we got this. And the bodywork does not disappoint. The bat emblem on the chest, the cut right there underneath the ribs is a nice articulation cut. The detail on the belt is pretty good. This one in particular, though, is missing the silver paint right there on the side, but this is the best paint job I saw overall. I like the hinged legs and the way they kind of meet right there at the crotch area. The lines kind of meet up. The seams look good. The details on the knees look good as well. There's a ball-jointed knee joint back there, but the front of it's kind of hidden, so you still get just one cut instead of a double cut. The shine of the boots looks really good. I really like the way the boots shine. There's the hinge there, the swiveling hinge, which is really, really nice. The articulation on the arms is really good too. They did a good job capturing like the details of just the general shape of his arms in action figure form. The joints are a little tight, but they still rotate well, including the elbow joint, which you need to kind of like just, you know, give it a good crack first before you swivel it. But the details of the shine of his little gauntlets look good. Just be warned that in the packaging, they can be pressed up against the edge and turn out a little curved, like mine right here. There's a little bit of a bend to it. But overall, the paint on the belt, the general grayness of his outfit looks good. The fact they use a cloth cape normally would bug me, but with this figure I think it reads really, really well. Especially because in the movie it was such a big contrast to his rubbery kind of outfit that it did read like fabric in the movie, like cloth. It didn't read like rubber. So this works for me. The way it's kind of cut, I don't like this seam right here on the side, but I do like the way that seam allows it to hang, so I'll take it. The head is interesting. When I saw this in stores, a bunch of them, the little triangle plates here were kind of pointed up. Some of the heads were kind of lifted up and hovering above the cape more because the cape meets underneath. I wish all of them were consistent. This one's good, but there are some that had big floaty head. This head is interesting. Maybe it worked in quarter scale, but I find his face a little, well, weird. A lot of the paint jobs on the mouth were bad, where the skin would bleed over onto the mask. This one does a little bit. Some of the lips weren't fully painted, and a lot of them were dirty, like just full-blown fingerprints and dirt smears all over his face. So be on the lookout for that. The shape of his cowl, though, is really well done. I think they captured the bat cowl from the movie really, really well, especially the dimensions of the ears and all that. But his eyes are a little interesting. They look weird and intense, and hunting for this in stores was difficult because so many of the figures I saw looked cross-eyed. Here's just a few examples of how weird the eyes can get. I mean, just look at this. He looks like Crazy Eyes from Mr. Deeds. And even the ones that like aren't all googly-eyed, like this one, they still have like really intense like pupil eye paint. Makes them look like super weird and intense. Looking at these figures in stores was kind of like the end of Rosemary's Baby, where I'm yelling, "What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?" Enough of that complaint. The accessories here are pretty awesome. It comes with this grapple gun, which includes this little clippy clip thing, which, you know, it's got this little prong right here that fits right through the trigger area, so you can clip it onto the belt. We'll do that in a moment. He comes with a right hand trigger finger and a left grip hand for gripping. Batarangs. We have two here. We have this main one. It's got little little dots on it you can kind of see from the mold, so whatever. And this little extra super tiny little one you can see just for comparison between the two. And then we can clip this on, I believe, right here on this little nook. It's a really big clip. I think it goes right. Well, I guess I can hang it on there, but the clip is bigger than the area. Oh, it goes on the back section here a bit. There you go. That's what that looks like, and he can, you know, reach across and pull that grapple gun out. I switched out both the hands quite easily, I might add. They did not present any problems. Sometimes NECA hands can be a little stiff. Also, this hand easily grips both batarangs, so that's nice that it's not just one or the other. I think the grapple gun looks great in his hand, and there's a lot of nice little details that like I kind of overlooked when I was first looking at this. Like just the palm of his hand has that little texture to it. That's a nice touch. Also, like the back of the figure, like the rest of his belt looks good, the back of his costume looks good. You know, articulation on his legs is pretty decent. His arms are a little stiff, but there is some mobility to his head. You can't get it to tilt, but at least he can kind of turn left and right to certain degrees. Just, you know, not like tilted, but you know, it looks alright. Overall, this figure just standing on the shelf looks great. You know, there's so much attention over the trilogy to the Dark Knight costume, but I really did think the Batman Begins costume was pretty cool. I dug the cowl. I thought the Dark Knight costume was an improvement, but still, this looks pretty rad. I'm happy we have this as a 7-inch figure, which I believe is exclusive to Toys R Us. Like all the other ones, you can just buy it on its own at Toys R Us, and I think it looks pretty snazzy. So thanks for watching, everybody. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook and all that crap.